Welcome, fellow vapors. Welcome back to the Vapor Realm. Clifford here again. Thank you guys, of course, so much for being here with me for another review. Today, we're going to be looking at another clearomizer, the Kanger MT3s. And you can see it right there, BCC, which is bottom coil clearomizer. This is a Kanger product. I've been looking around and I haven't seen too many reviews for these. And at first I was kind of confused what the S meant, because I knew what an MT3 was, and I had seen reviews for those, but I hadn't seen much on an MT3s, and it kind of took me a little while to figure out what the actual difference was. But this is basically an MT3, except that on the bottom here, on the MT3, this was the unit that you would replace. This whole thing, this whole screw part and everything. On the MT3s, the coil is actually... Well, the coil is actually removable. And so now with the MT3s, you only need to buy this coil, as opposed to buying this piece as well. Which, I didn't actually look at the prices. Probably should have done that before I started here. But maybe it's cheaper that way. For them to do that, but that's the only difference. This is in every other way, it's basically a Kanger MT3. But it took me a while to figure that out, so I figured I would let you guys know. So with the MT3, you know, you've got this kind of cool, like, kind of rubbery feeling outside to it with a little viewing window, so you can see your juice. I have a darker juice in there right now. The mouthpiece. Sorry, I got juice all over my fingers, of course. I can have a little towel with you, at all times, of course. The drip tip is not removable. I've seen some with different colors that were like all black. Well, the only colors I've seen are black and clear like this. I don't mind not being able to remove the drip tip too much, but I'm not a big fan of the clear. You can just... It gunks up. You can see stuff up there. So, not a huge fan of the clear. Also, the juice, it's not going to come out, but there's, like, the tank goes up to that point. So, I don't know, you can just see it when it's tipping over. And I just don't really know how I like the look of that. It just looks kind of weird. I don't really know why that's there. That's past where you wouldn't fill it up that high. But yeah, it's definitely not going to come out. It just looks kind of weird. Something I noticed. So, don't really like the look of that too much, but, can't take it off. So it's bottom feeding then. But, let's take a vape off of it, and we'll talk a little more about it. It's got the Ego cone threading on it. 510, obviously. So you're going to need something that can take a recessed 510. It does have little air holes on the side of the threading. Kind of hard to see there, but they're there. I think there's 3 of them. This does have like a darker threading on it. As you can kind of see, it kind of stands out from the silver on top of the MVP. So kind of like a darker threading. I don't know, interesting. But let's take a vape. So it's got an airier draw than some of my other tanks that I have, which I'm not a huge fan of. I take more of a mouth to lung hit, and so that's not too conducive to that. I've had airier. Sometimes the Pro tanks can be even airier than this, I would say, but I would like a slightly tighter draw personally. As with most clearomizers, it's a quiet vape as opposed to a cartomizer that's crackling the whole time. You don't really get any of that, so it's a quiet vape. Since it's a bottom coil, it's a cooler vape, a much cooler vape. And so if you like a warmer vape, more like a cigarette, a top coil may be something you might be more interested in. But If you like a cooler vape, bottom coil. Most bottom coils will be cooler. As far as flavor goes, not so great out of this. Out of my Bogue cartomizer, I personally get more flavor out of. And, you know, I've got devices that will give me way more flavor than that as well. So not a huge fan of the amount of flavor that I get out of this. I can definitely taste it. It's there, but just not as strong as I would like it to be. It's a very smooth pull, and you get like clearly a lot of vapor, and it's pretty a thick, milky, a nice vapor. Gonna get some water. But overall, I like that it holds quite a bit of liquid. I'm not sure of the exact amount. You can look that up online, but it holds a pretty good amount, which is nice. It's a pretty long tank. You know, sitting on top of here on the MVP. I mean, you know, it's almost as long as the MVP itself. So it is a pretty long tank. But you know, it would look nice on top of an Ego or something. Of course, with being this skinny. So you know, overall, I'm not a huge fan of this tank. For a couple reasons. I would have liked a slightly warmer vape. That's kind of what you get with a bottom coil as a cooler vape. So, but I've had some that are warmer, so I would have liked a little bit more warm vape, more flavor, and a tighter draw on it. A little too airy. But you know, those are all personal preference things. If you already have this tank and you like it, that's awesome. If you want to try out new tanks just to see what you like best, you know, definitely check it out. You know, to each his own. So these are, you know, this is just how I feel about it. But appreciate you guys sticking around and watching the review. If you have any questions on this tank or on any other devices, just, you know, feel free to leave a comment, send me a message, or you got any other tanks or devices you want me to check out you think are pretty cool, definitely let me know. But appreciate you guys sticking around. And keep on vaping, and I'll take one last little toot. Thanks, guys.